Please welcome my dear friend, Tantoo Cardinal.
Thank you. How could you go wrong with beautiful sisters like that? This community that I come from. Look, it's a woman. I'm so honored to be standing here tonight. There's so much that I could be saying, but I wrote a speech, so I should probably get to it. My great-grandfather was one of Big Bear's tribe, and Big Bear was one of the last to sign treaty in the late 1800s. He saw the lie it had been for his brothers and sisters to sign. Not until children were being starved in front of him did he finally sign. And my great-grandfather, Mihquanis, he was considered a renegade because he couldn't stay and live in what that treaty meant for him. He went on the run. He started a family in Sarsi country until the RCMP got wind that there was a renegade in the camp. And he fled in the night, and he landed in Dene country. But the Army of Canada was to serve and protect the self-appointed lords over the land. Did you know that the tar sands were discovered in 1779? See why I am the way I am? I was born in Fort McMurray, Alberta, in the heart of the tar sands. So in many ways, I was born into the revolution of evolution. My grandmother's second husband was an Englishman, and any remnant of our culture was kept hidden. All I knew was bush culture, in the world where nuance of earth culture could wisp through the course of living off the land, of no corner stores or sacred ceremonies. There was forced church attendance when the priest came, and my grandmother harbored the distinct fear that she would go straight to hell if she didn't force me to go to church. So imagine her horrific fear and dread when I refused to get married in the church. My first role was to represent a young woman who so loved Father Lacombe, had implicit trust in him, willingly and joyfully heeded his command. The dress I wore was 150 years old, from Victoria Crowchild of the Sarsi Reserve. My great-grandfather had most likely laid eyes on that dress, maybe even tugged on some of the strings. And knowing my ancestors were close led me to believe I belonged in the arena of storytelling on film. The belief was strong enough to reroute my dagger against the church. I had to perform the role to the best of my ability. Then I would get another opportunity to tell another story closer to the truth. That story was a long time coming, but closer now with the Truth and Reconciliation movement surrounding the residential school experiences. The story surrounding residential school should tell us of the capabilities of colonialism that does exist. Don't believe Harper, who went to Italy and proclaimed Canada does not have a history of colonialism. Yeah, eh? That the president of the Métis government was hanged for standing for his mandate to establish human rights in the territory before the railroad was built is an illustration. That Indians were hanged by the dozen for standing to protect their family, their house, their home, their life. Families slaughtered, buffalo slaughtered, because they were recognized as an economic base for the savages. It has been such a long journey for these facts to even be released into the open air of this man-made civilization, and it's not over yet. My mother's people stand in the breach, protecting what is left for future generations. No fracking. Leave the oil in the ground. Respect Mother Earth. And still, super prisons being built in preparation for housing radicals, terrorists, savages. Are my father's people going to be duped into buying the fear once again, as they were in the 1800s? They devoured the propaganda of fear, raised money, and built the railroad in a furious hurry with only laws of business, Hudson's Bay Company, Northwest Company in place. That's the mystery of today. Are people going to realize the folly of this economy based on dinosaur blood? Or are we going to pick up the torch and trust in the truth of natural law? Switch this paradigm. Stand with each other rather than against each other. What is a life where only a few, say 1% of 1%, are allowed to live, and that'll be for a short time? When the CO2 levels reach that place we fear, people won't be able to breathe, much less find water. These are the sources of my insanity that have led me to the place of storytelling. When I first came to the city, it was pretty alienating. And so when I saw a call sheet, when I was asked to placate this belief in Father Lacombe, the docudrama for CBC, I saw sunrise being noted. I saw sunset, wind velocity, temperature being noted. That was my clue. Maybe I could live here. Nowhere else had I found a recognition of the forces bigger than man, one species in billions. Within the CRTC ruling, the mandate to strengthen our culture was adopted. Canadian stories were being told. Native communication societies were created at the same time. And yet, on the other hand, Trudeau had also developed the white paper to get rid of treaty agreements. The opportunity, the Native Communication Society was doing 10 and 20-minute industrials and half-hour fire prevention drama. I was getting some training on the job in the world of film and acting. Excellence. And once in a desperate time, I was very clearly encouraged to trust that I could build a life from opportunities I had accepted in the film world. I trusted my ancestors to guide me along this path, through this mysterious path in front of me. I was stopped at a light on White Avenue in 104th Street in Edmonton. And I heard someone call my name. It was Phil Fraser. He was producing a feature and looking for a principal. Excellent. There's a story there. But the night the movies premiered in Edmonton, there's a party at the Governor General's residence after the screening. I'm talking to the people. I turn around and I find I've got no ride to the party. Nor do I have any dollars to get a cab. I'm standing outside the theater wondering what to do. And I hear my name being called. And it's architect Douglas Cardinal in his white limo asking me if I want to ride over there. Excellent. I drove 3 hours south to Calgary from Edmonton to sit in an audition hall with many beautiful young women. And they all had on their dark makeup and wearing the Indian jewelry in profusion. And all of us hoping to get cast in the Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson movie, Death Hunt. The director went for the Indian. Excellent. Ruth Smiley from Saskatoon at the time, in Regina now. They created a piece of theater, and she gave up her role that they created, so I had a chance to play on stage. Excellent. The pain of what was happening in my homeland of Fort McMurray was loud in my soul. And I'm invited to play and tour in Ontario and Saskatchewan, and Necessary Angels play Boom about uranium mining in Saskatchewan. We even played in mining towns. I know one miner who quit and went home after seeing our show. Excellence. Ann Wheeler and Sharon Reese wrote a role for me in Loyalties, a movie about sexual abuse that opened up dialogue on the issue in the community of Lac La Biche and beyond. Loyalties was the catalyst for change. Excellent. On a sunny day, while preparing my audition for Dances with Wolves in my backyard in LA, I looked up and saw stars all over the sky at noon. I blinked. The stars stayed for about 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it. It told me something was up. The movie portrayed our people as human beings, one of the firsts in Hollywood history. It won 8 Oscars. Excellent. We needed that. The opportunity to speak through the soul is a gift. I'm eternally grateful for the amazing people that inhabit this world of the arts, for the great good fortune of being a part of this milieu, for the benefit of hope, determination, and tenacity that is our arts community. I thank our ancestors who have imbued us with their hopes and dreams and wisdom. and each other to keep moving forward in a good way. My thanks to the good women and men who are a part of the decision to stick this statement on my mantle. In great gratitude, I thank you for honoring my ancestors, my friends, my family, and my communities. And in that, give yourself a pat on the back for being in the arts. Thank you.
Damn, Tantoo.